We review it Wednesday.
Introducing your hosts.
I know there's been a lot of speculation of whether or not I am Matt Logan. And yes, I am Matt Logan.
I'm Tyler. Tyler Peterson.
Slugheads. You're 42 regular, Mr. Peterson.
Oh, you're too kind, Mr. Logan.
Chapter 4.
Here we are.
You can talk a little bit.
I always think it's fun when movies that have sequels don't just do like John Wick 1, John Wick 2. I always like the ideas of like Chapter 1, Chapter 2. I just think it's different and more fun. And you don't have to deal with like, oh, John Wick, Return of the High Table, or weird.
I agree with that 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
This is a spoilers.
Riddled.
Episode.
Yeah.
I mean, we're already a couple weeks into
we reviewed
and
yeah.
So
it's
just the way it is.
Yeah. If you're watching a review of John Wick, I mean, we're going to be talking about things we liked, things we didn't like, and that often involves the story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
So should we start off with some people died?
Some people died.
I forgot to look how many people died. I didn't
look either, but
so long.
I think pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
I guess.
The dog didn't die.
Well, are we sure that's the same dog?
Morbius didn't die.
Yeah. What did you think of Donnie? What's his name? Donnie Yen. Where did he go?
I thought he was a
Donnie
quirky
Yen.
character.
It's a quirky character, but he played a blind man before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What did he play
Rogue
blind?
One.
Oh, yeah. The Force is with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
The Force is with me. I'm with the Force, or something like that. He kept repeating all the time. Yeah. So I was like, wait a minute. Been there, done that.
That's true. But this time he's killing people and not saving the rebellion.
Right.
He was weird. It's a very interesting concept. It's kind of like Daredevil, except he technically doesn't have the superpowers.
Right. And it's kind of like there was an old one back in, I think, the 80s. I should look it up. But another Blind Fury or something it was called.
Yeah.
Maybe we can look that up in the editing process here. But I don't know. It's just so there's some of those things at my age. Yeah. I've experienced some of this story, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that I didn't really care for.
Yeah.
I had some feelings on the movie too. Like, I'm like, yeah, they stole that from this.
Right.
Or, some of that. But I'm not going to bring that up because I set that aside. And, this is it.
Film.
The guy, the director, Chad, he's only directed the John Wick movies.
Yeah. Which is crazy. But did you see the trailer for the one about the Nazis?
Oppenheimer?
No.
Wasn't that is that the
Oppenheimer
Nazi one?
is about
the
the
Cold
Cold War.
The nuclear. Yeah.
No, it's about, I think it's from the same director that did these John Wick movies, obviously. So obviously part of John Wick is they were kind of closing the loop. At the end they left it for they could really continue it if they want to, or do spin-offs. But I think he's going to be doing something else, or at least expanding the different projects he's doing.
Okay.
I forget what it was called, but I remember I think it was when I was watching John Wick, I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, oh, this is very bloody. This is very brutal. I can see why it's from the producers of John Wick.
Sure.
Yeah.
But producers, not
true.
necessarily directors.
That's true.
Yeah. So, but this guy we talked about a while back when we did John Wick 1.
Yeah.
And he was a stunt man.
For Keanu, right?
Yeah, I think maybe, yeah.
I think that's what it was.
I should have looked. So that was cool.
Yeah.
These 4 films I thought are
phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because Keanu really he does a lot of the scenes, but he's getting older. But he really appreciates stunt doubles. And
do you know how old he is?
I do not.
Okay. How old do you think he's? Similar age to myself, or?
I would think so.
Yeah.
I know I've seen him a lot in movies from my childhood and stuff like that, where he plays an older person, or not older, but like middle age. So I can only assume. I would think he's 56.
Okay. You think I'm 56?
I have no idea. I am not going to ask that question.
I've talked about it before,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I have on here. We've got the producer over there going like, "Don't make me do this.
Yeah.
I'm out of here."
And the producer's like 29, right? Just kidding.
And holding, I
That's
believe.
right.
I understand. I am as well.
Oh, really?
Yes, I've been 29 now for a while.
Oh, I thought you were talking about 56 again.
No, I'm still in my 40s.
That makes sense.
He's 58.
I was close.
Yeah, so he's 11 years older than I am.
Okay.
But yeah,
I can believe that. But he loves his stunt doubles. And did you know what he got for all the stunt doubles?
In the Matrix?
In John Wick 4.
No.
He got him a shirt with how many times he either died or killed somebody else. I can't remember what it was. But, like, because obviously there's so many people in the background they're not paying attention to. So I think they have the same people for different scenes. But he got T-shirts for all of them with all the different kill counts on it.
No kidding.
Which is super funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is funny. But John Wick, I mean, the first one was not supposed to do very well.
No.
And it did amazing.
Yeah, it did.
And so they started this whole franchise out of it.
Well, even if you look at I remember watching the first one, the production value definitely looks like they could have filmed the whole thing in a weekend.
Yeah.
Versus where we're getting to these films, like, we're getting
There's
pretty
some
big.
budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally. Should we go into scoring and then talk about some of the things as that comes up, or?
Yeah, I think that works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something else you wanna?
Well, there's just a lot of things. And I think
There's
a
a
lot.
lot.
There's going to be, I think cinematography is going to be a big chunk of this podcast because
Okay.
they were some really cool choices they made with it.
Yeah.
So we can talk about it then. Well, there weren't a ton of actors. Well, there were that died. But, like, again, the focus is primarily on Keanu and Donnie Yen, I think, were the two big people. And you have Laurence Fishburne sometimes popping in.
Why don't we, with the actors, maybe just, make a comment about Lance Reddick.
Yeah.
Sad deal there.
Right.
He passes away, 4 days before the big
Right.
premiere.
Yeah.
At 60 years old. So that's
Which-
wild.
I was blown away that he was 60.
Yeah, I was
was-
too. Yeah.
Black don't crack. I mean, that's what I was thinking because, man, he looked like he could be in his early 50s.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
what I
for
was
sure,
thinking.
For sure. So, that's a sad deal. And
Yeah.
obviously we're not gonna just keep announcing spoilers, but this is obviously
Spoiler.
a spoiler here now, but he dies in the film as he is, protecting essentially, or thinking he's there to protect and back up Winston.
Yeah.
And as the hotel is blown up,
Yeah.
it's not demolished, but
Right.
all the windows blown out of it. The hourglass, that was kind of a neat deal. But and then they,
I felt like they dragged out the hourglass scene a little too long. Like, I wish they wouldn't kept panning to the hour. Like, I think they went back to it quite a few times.
yeah.
I wish they would have done it probably 2 or 3 times less.
What did you think of Bill Skarsgård? How did he do? How was his acting?
It was okay. It was good.
See, to me, his acting, I thought he did very well.
Yeah.
But I think the character wasn't written very well.
No.
Like, it wasn't, he was a henchman that didn't do any dirty work, essentially, unless it was,
Right.
there was no pushback.
Yeah.
And things like that. So that was kind of interesting, but I thought he did very well with it.
Yeah.
I guess personally.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of character interactions. I'm sorry. I thought I muted
no, that's
this.
okay. I was like,
muting it
do
now.
I hear something?
I was like,
I wasn't even
thing-
sure.
Do you hear birds in the background?
I doubt
Tweet,
the
tweet,
mics
tweet.
even picked that
Yeah.
up, but I was like, do I hear something?
And if it did pick it up, I messed up. My phone was
No,
not
it
silenced.
doesn't matter. I don't care.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. I mean, this movie is not about the character development. I mean, they do a good job of telling a story. I mean, I was kind of... How do you feel about the end of if this is the end of the John Wick character? Do you feel like it was justice to his character? Like, justice to him?
I think there's a lot. So here's how I perceive this.
Yeah.
He might not be
Right.
dead.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big known.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows that he dies at the end.
Yeah.
And
And in case you didn't, spoiler.
wow.
Just kidding.
They basically kind of said that in the trailer.
Right. Yeah, they did.
I mean,
Yeah.
so I think there's a couple things. I think they're going to see, are people wicked out?
Yeah.
It's done very well so far.
Yep.
We'll see how well it does. They're going to spin this off, though.
Yeah, they are.
And I hope that they have some good writing with
Yeah.
it. Because there's some characters that would be kind of fun to follow. You know, Winston, they're going to rebuild the hotel.
They could do two different spin-offs with how they ended it.
Yeah.
You got Winston rebuilding the hotel, and then the Asian... I'm terrible with names. The Asian guy's daughter.
Yeah, Amy Kwan. Mia in the film.
Yeah,
is
Mia.
Her name. Yeah, and the tracker slash
I
nobody. Bounty
didn't
hunter.
like him that much.
Yeah,
I didn't like how he was written.
Yeah, but it could be an interesting character.
Yeah, it could.
You know, I don't think it would be its own. I'm saying,
Yeah.
but I think he would be weaved into something.
Yeah, right.
So that's what I think. So
Yeah.
that's one way they can go with it, or they can go, you know, faked his death.
Yeah.
Easily done.
I was really hoping Mia's character... So, spoiler, there is an end credit scene in this
Yeah.
movie, which I didn't fully expect. Because it's not one of those movies I would expect.
Right.
Post-credit scenes. And I was really hoping Mia would have killed the daughter. I was hoping that's how they ended it. Instead of like the anticipation of him going to Donnie Yen's character.
Yeah.
It would have been so... Like, again, I don't like horror, but like it would have just made sense to me. Like, that's like... It's a bittersweet ending.
Yeah.
Rather than like, oh, well, she's probably going to live.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's interesting
Yeah.
for sure. So some of those characters, they did some things in the storyline to build them as a spin-off,
Yeah.
you know, and things. I think it'll be interesting to watch how that plays out.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything where they're trying to, or at least I haven't dug for it, but I haven't seen anything on the surface that they're saying, yeah, we're going to do, you know, John Wick 5. And
The only thing I've seen is like the executives of whoever like helps produce these franchise wants a John Wick 5, but whether the people like, again, if Keanu wants to continue doing it and stuff like that, I think that's what has to get figured out at this point.
yeah. Ian McShane is fun. I mean, he has
Yeah.
cool characters.
Yeah.
He looks like Leatherface
Yeah, he does.
in Texas Chainsaw
Yeah,
Massacre,
yeah.
but whatever. Clancy Brown, you know, he played the Harbinger, whatever. That was his, yeah.
Yeah.
Here, I don't remember which his character was.
But there were actually quite a few
Harbinger.
people, involved.
And he is a character from Highlander from the 80s. He's
There
the
can
Kurgan.
only be one.
There can be only one.
There can be only one.
But this is the way.
This is the way. That's what I know.
And so that was fun to see some of these. But anyway, they're building some of those characters, you know, and their stories, and they're ending some of the characters and their stories and things like that in here.
Potentially.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
That's
mean,
true.
but yeah. I did like how some of the characters they were doing their, like the line was the friendship out of convenience versus a friendship out of central real true friendship. That's so true.
That was such a good way to start it out.
That was like powerful.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. It was satisfying to hear it and then also hear him act on those words.
Yeah.
Because they both played out so beautifully within how the story was told.
I enjoyed that. So it's I mean, the way they interacted together, which is kind of the way we score it, has a lot to do with the way things are written.
Absolutely.
But the way they ended some characters, or potentially, and the way they built some of them up, I'm a 4-1.
Okay.
I think parts of it maybe deserved a little bit more, parts of it a little bit less. But that's why you have an average.
That's right. I give it a 4-2. I really enjoyed the interactions. There were some really funny scenes. There were some brutal scenes and stuff like that. So,
brutal scenes in John Wick.
I did not see that coming. I don't know if I liked how it ended with John Wick. Like it was happy that he could go back to his wife, but also it was such an anticlimactic way for him to die. With everything that he's gone through.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What does he have, like 6 or 7 car collisions with his body?
My friend and I, because I watched this with a friend, he and I were talking about, we started counting in the scene where they were going around, how many times John Wick got hit by a car and just continued to get up and walking around versus like these hooligans that would get hit once and all of a sudden, yep, he's dead. He's not coming back. We don't even need to do the double to make sure he's dead. We're just going off.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's so, I mean, that's a heck of a suit.
It is.
High impact from a car and bullets.
Right.
Yeah.
This can do it all.
That's a little weird, but, so there's just no way that any person could survive that in the first place.
Yeah.
And then you bring him to the end, 222 stairs.
Yeah.
So.
And then he just dies. Like, nobody, this is the other thing I was thinking about. They're doing a shoot-off, and I understand the high table and the procedures and everything like that, but they don't even have anyone prepared as a medic. And, because
well, it's to the death.
It's to the death. But, also, if the other person gets, he doesn't die, but he gets shot in the shoulder, is bleeding pretty bad, and the other person's confirmed dead, wouldn't you want,
right. No, I see what your point. Yeah.
But what do I know?
He did Chapter 2 and Chapter 3.
Okay.
He also did The Shape of Water, which I did not see.
What is The Shape of Water?
Yes.
Yes.
He did Silent Hill.
The knockoff of the Christmas song Silent Night.
Deliver Us from Evil. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I've heard of that one.
From 2003.
I really like
those are some of the bigger ones.
On this.
I do too.
I think it has. Daredevil, the TV show, has one of my favorite fight scenes where they're going through the apartment scene and it's all one shot, which I think is incredibly hard to do, but it was incredibly well done in that. This one, when they did the sky view of, I don't know what building they were in. It was a huge building. If you were to look on the outside of, it didn't make sense of how big it was. But the scene where it was kind of the aerial view, and he had the shotgun that spit out fire or whatever it was. And the way that they panned through the scenes, you could see people move around. They came back, and the people were still there. And the way they did the lighting and the way they zoomed back in and then back out is probably one of my favorite fight scenes I've seen. And it's not even a fight. Is it truly a fight scene? It's just people getting shot. I mean,
well, I guess that's a fight.
Yeah.
Well, one direction.
Right.
Anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, there was a lot of. Of course, this is Chapter 4. You're gonna, and all of them have major fight scenes in them. Obviously, if you've ever seen any of them.
I mean, these are about the fight scenes, and there happens to be a story in it versus there's a story and there's fight scenes within the story.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to bring something different to it.
Yeah.
I thought Japan looked fantastic.
Yeah.
They actually went to Japan to do it.
Yeah.
Which
you could tell.
Yes, absolutely. So all of that looked very real and it was real, but that's the point of it. Like when you go to actual locations, go to the location.
Exactly.
So that was really cool. You know, the basilica up the stairs, that looked real.
Yeah.
It was real.
Right.
But it looked that way too, right?
It's crazy to me because, again, we talk about how many different fight scenes there are, but the other thing is there was quite a bit of different locations that they went to, and each of the fight scenes that were at a different location were so unique to that place. And so you got the first scene where you had the lights and stuff where you first meet Donnie Yen. I mean, you see some fight scenes before that, and then you get to the Japanese, and then
I think it's Donnie, by the way.
Donnie.
It's Donnie.
Donnie. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Oh, Danny boy. You get to the apartment scene, you get to the stairs scene, and even the duel at the end was there's this every fight scene. Again, it was a lot of fight scenes, and it was hard. Like it was hard for me to see, but at the same point, I was so intrigued to see how they did it each time.
Sure. Yeah. Totally. And obviously they have different times of days. They made that look really well. They had I liked when they were in the subway.
Yeah.
You know, all that kind of stuff in the boat.
The lights flickering.
Yeah. So they did a fantastic job with cinematography all around, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And maybe this is because of the hype. I don't know, but
buy into it.
Yeah, but it clearly there was more money spent on it.
Yeah.
And that's very clear here.
Yeah.
In all aspects.
Yeah.
So I'm a 4.6.
Yeah, I give it a 4.7. I was, again, I feel like I have a weird personality in the sense of like when it comes to I don't like being scared, but sometimes, and I don't even like seeing bloods and guts, but like the way this film was shot again was so intriguing.
Yeah, and the way the blood looked, it wasn't like most of it wasn't splatter gross.
No,
it was like, oh, that would make sense.
Yeah,
you know, you just feel like that would make sense.
And how they went up the stairs and then he fell down the stairs. Like I thought the scene itself was ridiculous of how he fell down. Like it was
too much. But
also it was cool to see the buildup of going up and down. Like the scene itself was too long, but also I think they had to with what they were kind of wanting to tell. Like, oh, he's now definitely not going to make it. But yeah, I don't know. There's nothing that I probably would have changed besides maybe that scene with how cinematography, the lighting and stuff was all really cool. Everything tied together so well. So yeah, 4.7.
Maybe we should get you a mic that you can just hold.
Yeah. And that just can't turn off. Let me get one of those infant ones that doesn't actually work, but I'll make sure to have it in tandem with this other one.
I just got to give you a rough time here, man. It was a little bit long.
Yeah.
I can't believe you just had said off camera before we started recording that it was an hour longer.
Yeah, the initial cut was 3:45, and the director's like, well, this isn't probably going to be working, so then they obviously started cutting things down.
Yeah, but then you'd have to talk to Cameron.
Yeah.
He's like, no, we're going to keep the Avatar movies really long. James.
I mean, you need to have those long naps sometimes.
Yeah, it's 169 minutes.
Yeah.
So, but with that said, they did a nice job with it, especially because it's a finale.
Right.
Supposedly.
Yeah, potentially.
I mean, I think it probably will be in a lot of respects.
Yeah.
But they're going to bring some new stuff. It might not be called John Wick.
That was the thing, is like if they continue it. I mean, John Wick is John Wick.
Yes.
I think they're going to have a hard time branding anything within the John Wick series because John Wick is now potentially dead.
Right, and I think though that I would be interested in the the continental history type film,
The High Table.
or that,
Yeah.
But the continental,
Yeah.
they've got the New York Continental
Yeah.
and the Osaka
Yeah.
Continental, and you could do some cool stuff
Right.
with that. But the High Table, a lot of it would be
Yeah.
just
So interesting.
just go deep. Yeah,
It's crazy to me that like this John Wick. I feel like they've just been doing a movie at a time, with not
Yeah.
really trying to ever having the focus of like, well, are we
like the lore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so it's never been like we're going to set up a franchise where we have the next 4 films planned out, and so
Right.
we're going to start building the lore here. We're going to start building the lore here.
Marvel.
Man, are you okay over there?
Marvel.
But it was so cool. I don't know why I'm touching this mic so much today. I don't know what's going
It's probably
on.
because I'm saying
I'm
something.
conscious. But like, so it really seemed like they were doing a movie at a time. But
Yes.
in each movie they did a great job of building, like you said, the lore without forcing it.
Yeah.
And like they do a good job of connecting things back, but again, it never feels forced. It just makes sense to the story, which is crazy to me because a lot of times when we're doing trilogies, when we're doing multiple films, like if you don't have the full film planned out, it's sometimes hard to like, what are we going to do next? Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. It's not like a Friends episode.
That's
where,
right.
You just wing it.
Yeah,
But
right.
So there's a few things in here. It felt a little bit like a video game, I suppose you'd say. Like you had to kill this bad guy to make it to the next
Level
level,
up.
and stuff like that. So that was a little bit rough for me.
Get the
It's
ultimate
fairly-
weapon at the end.
Yeah. The dance, the club where they're. I don't care what type of a club you're in.
Yeah. If someone's
major
getting shot at-
fighting and
Yeah.
gunfire and things, they're not going to just keep dancing.
Yeah.
So part of the entertainment for me kind of got brought down because this isn't like, that's dumb.
But that's the crazy. So that's the thing. Another thing within this lore of why are people so okay with this? Like, because you had the scene too when they were going around in the cars.
Yeah, and
And
traffic
it's like,
wasn't stopping.
Traffic was kept
Yeah.
on going. And it's like, what type of universe are we in where this is a normal process where if you see it, just another day, let's just keep going.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. But it was entertaining. I would ended up seeing it in the IMAX.
Oh, a big screen.
And the screen isn't so important to me. Well, this one was the timing. The timing worked out that way better. But I really do like the IMAX for the sound.
See, that's why I like I went to the DLX and they have the Atmos sound or the Dolby Atmos, but it's definitely better than your standard.
Yeah. But it gets you.
Yeah, right in the chest.
Yeah.
Especially because
When he was at the opening scene.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh, it was so good.
Boom.
And even the shots and stuff. Like, because they obviously probably amplified what it would have sounded like in real life if you're that distance. But it was still like, that's a good sound for that. What's happening right now.
Yes.
So cool.
Yeah, it was cool. So overall entertainment for me, this is probably, after being kind of disappointed at some of the films we've reviewed.
Yeah.
We review it Wednesday here. This is definitely the most entertaining. I mean, Ant-Man was very disappointing. Shazam 6 was disappointing. Yeah. There's some redeeming factors to those, but so overall entertainment, I'm a 4.7.
Yeah.
A solid 4.7.
Yeah,
like this was fun.
Also, the dog going for the nuts.
Yes.
It was like, all right, that's great. I love it. And that's another crazy thing is it's a dark film, but the way they do humor is so perfect in this of not being overly comical, but it's that dark humor, which I really do enjoy quite a bit. I also gave it a 4.7. There's this, I think there's almost it's a long film, but again, it had a bigger budget, it had a bigger cast, it has the universe more well established than what it was. Again, the first film, they thought that was going to be it.
Well, yeah, that was just like this
Yeah.
seems like a fun thing to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think this is probably my favorite John Wick movie out of the 4. And part of that is because of how well it encompasses what it did well in the previous films, and to tie the knot at the end of, if this is it, you know what? I'm fine with that. Would I like to see more? Absolutely. But they did a good job with it.
And I do like the linear timeline that they've kind of held through these 4. This one's probably seemingly the most distant from the last one, from 3, as far as, he obviously would have needed time to heal, significant healing from 3.
Yeah.
So it was great. I would definitely, I'm obviously going to buy it.
Yep.
It's going to be one I'm going to watch a few times.
Probably the best movie I've seen this year.
Yeah. 100%.
Absolutely.
So,
tell us what you think.
Yeah, and what should we review? We review it Wednesday. We're trying to do not necessarily spoiler free, but definitely a little bit more recent films. So tell us what you want.
At LegitQ at Matty'sMoviesMix.com.
Say it right there.
LegitQ at Matty'sMoviesMix.com.
Yeah.
Hit it.
Now you can grab the mic.
Yeah.
Hammer the share button. Go ahead and hammer out a comment to us. Go ahead and hammer the like button. Go ahead and hammer the subscription button. Go ahead and hammer the notification bells, because you know what? That's the best way you can support us. We appreciate it.
Stop listening to Podcast Topless. We're shiny brand products that are so comfortable you'll think you're topless. Check out shinybrandproducts.com.